Yan amukela enkqubeni yami bomtaba ka dad, bomtaba ka gogo, bomtaba ka auntie, bomtaba ka sisi. I am Sims and it's at the right Sims on Instagram. So please,
Yes, sir.
follow your sister.
Y'all heard.
Kisho ya kai. I'm not alone today, guys. As you can see,
I was just
I have
boosting
got
the
to set
atmosphere.
up. Kona also hamba before 10 minutes ishaya kule channel. I'm not alone today. I am with two amazing gentlemen that have their own podcast, but today they're on my podcast. Introduce yourself this side.
I'm Mpoyi.
And I'm Eskay Osbourne, the self-proclaimed rock star of SA. Like, guys, go on. I'm here. We're here. We're live. We're doing it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. So, guys, as you can see with the setup, I'm not at my regular Dickler spot.
Yes, sir.
It's because of the thumbnail you saw. We are talking about podcast. Now, guys, as podcasters, I want to know.
Podcasters.
I want to know. Hurry, everyone, their cats, their dogs, their toes have podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
What is this podcast phenomena?
Podcast, for me, basically,
Yeah.
a podcast is it's a funny way of giving out information. For instance, you don't need to be uptight with it. I can come to a podcast and just be myself. For instance, a radio talk show, it's scripted or you're limited to say certain things. But on a podcast, it's like, you see what I'm already doing? It's like, I can do it and not be afraid that my boss is going to gosh at me or something like that.
But I want to know, firstly, maybe for my subscribers, what is a podcast? Who wants to answer?
Okay, do you want the definition from a dictionary
what is a
or
podcast?
a podcast is
You can break it
it's an
down.
audio recording of a person, basically. It's an audio recording, yes.
Okay.
So a video one is meant to be a vodcast.
A podcast.
But since the podcast is the in thing, everybody is like podcast. So everybody names, even if it's on YouTube, it's a podcast. But it's supposed to be a vodcast if it's a video.
And then SK
Osbourne,
yeah. So when as a podcast, do you think this is a phase, a trend, or because they're only starting now they're starting now in South Africa?
Oh, yeah?
Like, where do you see them going?
These podcast things.
Yeah.
Well, I see it as a platform just for people to reach out to, in terms of, as an artist as well, like getting on radio is very hard.
Yeah.
So now we have things like podcast.
Okay.
It makes it easier for people to branch out and reach out to
Okay.
other people, to a bigger audience even, because radio is dying, honestly.
So do you think podcasts are here to stay?
Yeah, obviously. Most
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, they're here to stay.
I
It's a
mean,
new thing.
yeah, we even have people releasing books now in the form of podcast. It's
Yes.
not now only what do they call when a book is in an audio format? Whatever.
Audiobook.
Yeah,
An audio book, yeah. But now people are specifically making audio books. They're not releasing the scripted one anymore. Yeah.
So it's either you move with us or you stay behind.
Okay, so you guys keep bringing up this thing of radio is dying. Radio is dying. But some of us grew up with radio, and I don't want to lie. And I mean,
What year was that?
first of all, I'm not that old-ish. But also, our parents, if you can ask my mom, Poppy, no shame to you, love. But I'm a podcast, your friends, your mother's friends, they don't know what a podcast is. So when do they know to turn on the radio, put Kaya FM 702? So what do you guys mean when you say radio is dying, but when you still have people listening to radio and not knowing what a podcast is?
For me, basically, I wouldn't say it's necessarily dying because every market has got its own audience.
Yes.
So everyone is going to cater to their own surrounding because South Africa is big. There's millions and millions of people and for instance, a podcast, you need access to internet. So it's not something accessible. As much as we might say that it's going to be, and that's the reason why we use the term, it's still going to be the next big thing.
Okay,
but
it's
it's
still
not
growing.
it's not necessarily to say that it's has already been
But
that
radio
big
stations
thing.
are now having their own podcasts.
That's because-
I've seen.
That's because they've realized, and it's that thing of hopping on a trend. Radio, and it's something we've seen with these establishments. They'll move with what society is moving or what people are catering to.
Okay.
So it's not to say that they are doing it because they've seen how powerful the platform
The
is
platform is.
True.
Okay.
So, and that's the reason why they're just trying to be a part of the thing instead of them being left out.
Now,
Yeah, so-
SK, like, tell me, ne?
Yeah.
Me, okay, let's talk about someone wanting to start a podcast. Like, they're like, okay, I see podcasters starting up. I want to jump on this train, and grow with it as it grows. What tips would you give someone wanting to start a podcast in terms of equipment, like the
Okay.
logistics?
First of all, you need a fire producer like me. So you know what to do.
I'm just going to breathe in and out.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. To start a podcast, first of all, you need a dope audio, a DAW. So a DAW is something like FL Studio, Audacity. There's a lot of DAWs you can use to record your sound into
Okay.
that. Depending on what you're doing, you can do like MJ said, a vodcast,
Okay.
or you can do the audio one. So the audio one, you just need a DAW, record into the
Okay.
DAW. You need a mic, preferably a C1 as a condenser mic and interface. If you're out of budget, you can get a USB mic, which is also, it's there. It tries to do the job, but it's okay. Get a USB mic, get a pair of headphones, get a PC, laptop, or you can do it on your phone, but the sound quality won't be as good. I won't lie to you.
Okay.
So
thank
just
you.
do it on a laptop. It's the proper way. Laptop interface, C1, and get a dope door. Yeah, you'll be good.
MJ.
Mm.
Ooh, SK is mentioning a lot of things, and already I just see 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 10,000.
But they
15,000.
cheat. For me,
So how much am I looking at if I want to start a podcast? Like the entry level equipment.
Entry
Just to
level.
get me start.
I think entry level would be
7 clips.
2,000 to 3,000.
2,700.
2,000.
Who is George? Who's my friend?
Let me tell you, MJ is talking about this type of equipment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 700 would be like for an average person who's willing to try things. You're not taking it serious, you just wanna get
Try.
on the go and
Yeah.
record. So you just get a USB mic, get your laptop, get a DAW, you set to go.
So you talking about like a professional set?
No. A professional setup would probably be, I
I'm
think.
not make G's one.
Okay.
Make G. Yeah, 99,000.
Okay, but
that one.
I think a proper setup would be like 5,000. I think a proper setup would be
that's-
5,000,
Okay.
excluding the computer, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Excluding.
a whole nother
Yeah.
mission on its own.
Okay. And South African podcasts versus over the seas. I don't like always talking about comparing our market to overseas, because Tina, we are growing.
Yeah.
But do you see, because I feel like American podcasts are so diverse. There's a story time podcast,
Yeah.
there's
True,
literally
true.
podcasts
It's
for
like a radio.
everything.
True.
Now, how hard is it to get people to listen to podcasts here in our country?
It comes with what your story is and what you're offering to them. People cater to certain categories. For instance, a podcast, the way MacG's one, and it's not to say that I'm naming and shaming or saying that
Yeah.
they're doing it wrong, but
Yeah.
for instance, MacG's one, it has it's meant to,
Radio dropouts.
Yeah,
All the
it's
ones
like
that
the
were fired from radio. Don't be ashamed. This is we talk.
yeah, but if you look at the way they do their things, those are certain things that you can only do on a certain platform. It's not everybody that would let you talk like that. Like, for instance, they're
yeah.
explicit, they
Yes.
are funny in their own way, but other people won't cater to, for instance, like a crime story
Yeah,
podcast
yeah.
because they're not into it. They have no interest.
But I feel like with Abo Mekji, and I was not dogging them when I said radio dropouts, I feel like because of the type of content they have, and radio censors people a lot. Radio is more concerned about sponsors and ads.
True.
So they are worried. You see, with the likes of Abo Mekji, they're growing because they can say no one is censoring them. That's the
True,
beauty of
true.
our podcast. That's what I say. People can be themselves.
But
How
to
they
what
want to
extent,
be.
though?
To what extent?
But
in
they-
what
they-
way?
they
In
like
what way?
stretching it.
it's-
I mean, it's like the term freedom of expression.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there should be a limit to what you can say.
Of course, don't infringe on other people's rights while you are expressing yourself. Don't be hateful. Those should
But I
still
feel like it's
apply.
gonna get to
True.
a point where people are gonna have to be told, "Hooray."
No,
Yeah.
but they've already been told. I mean, look at the guy who said something about Bonang using coke. He got sued.
Oh Oh, not that Ria Khopane.
Yeah,
Is
that
he
guy.
Is he still paid?
I don't know. But
I
and
felt
that
sorry for him.
and Bonang doing that, people were going at Bonang saying that
Yeah.
she overdid it because she has the money, but it's
No,
people
no.
have to
Some people need to
understand
be taught a
exactly,
lesson, yes.
and she was trying to protect the brand
The-
because Bonang is a
exactly,
brand on
yes.
herself.
Of course, you can't talk nje out of your and don't think there won't be any
just get out of your
consequences.
bag and jail.
Exactly.
Yeah, like also now we be mindful of other people. That's why it's something. What are the dangers of? Yeah, these are one of the dangers of my podcast. Because
True.
people can come to these platforms
Nah, but-
and they can say whatever.
But I think you can say whatever and use proper terms. For instance, if I'm
Yeah.
explaining something and I say allegedly,
Yeah.
you can't
Then you
sue
can
me
play
for
it
that.
around,
Exactly.
yeah.
You can play around and tell stories around that and not insinuate that your story
So have
is
good
facts.
English.
No.
Basically, guys.
Just not to
You know, like
articulate.
I won't say abusive. He'll say tumultuous. He'll say passionate, but he's saying abusive, toxic. Basically,
Basically.
So, what's your like? How do you feel about the AKA situation?
I don't feel anyway. I just know that if there's something that needs to be said, AKA will tell us.
But he already told us. I mean, he came out and
Allegedly. Guys, let's not go out of topic.
Yeah, sorry.
So, Eskay, ne?
Mhm.
Tell me, do you think there's money to be made on podcasts? Because we spoke about spending money to have a podcast. Do you
Well,
think
money-
there's money to be made?
Yeah, I mean, the platforms you post up to, like Spotify,
Mm.
YouTube, depending on your listeners' views, you do get paid after a certain amount of things. So, Spotify, I think it's with 10,000 monthly listeners. Yeah,
yeah.
you
Getting paid on
the way. So it's basically how I know it. It's $15. It depends with the ratings, right?
And
Per
monthly
1,000 listeners, you get $15.
Okay, per 1,000
Then
listeners.
listeners, yes.
Okay, it's $15 per 1,000 listeners.
Listeners, yes.
So would you advise, as you guys are, I won't say starting out, because the more of us, let me say, I discovered you guys now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you've been at this. What
Yeah.
would you advise someone that wants to start a podcast?
Yeah. Just start.
and have passion for it as well.
Exactly, and be
Don't just
consistent.
do it and
That word, tell them.
Be consistent.
Tell them again.
Be consistent.
Thank you. You?
yeah, just be passionate about it. Don't just do it because it's the in thing. You'll probably not like write it out. throughout the
True.
whole way. But if you're passionate about it, then big ups, go for it.
True.
I don't want to over-informatize my people.
But then you want information.
So did I forget anything? Do you guys want to say something in regards to podcasts?
I think you
With Global.
probably.
The
swear.
Assimilation
I-
Podcast with Global is the one.
I-
We are coming for you. Go check us out. Not a-
Yeah.
MJ, where can people find your podcast? Where can they find you per se?
The podcast, you can find it anywhere. Just Google the Assimilation Podcast. It's everywhere on Spotify. You name it. Wherever you get your podcast, we are there.
Ah, man.
And you guys can follow me at Mpoyi MJ on all the social platforms.
I will link them.
Yeah.
Booty.
Me, y'all know the vibes, guys. It's Eskay Osbourne everywhere, and it's Eskay. That's how you must spell the
Not
SK.
SK, lo wase Craig.
Yeah,
SK wakumetric lo
Graduated,
Yeah.
and then Osbourne from Ozzy Osbourne. That Osbourne.
Yes.
That way, then you'll find me everywhere. And yeah, I got a track dropping next week Friday, so be sure to check that out as well.
Thank you guys
And-
for informating us and informating our guests, and thank you for having me on your studio and gate crashing it.
No, we thank you for having us.
Exactly.
Ah, kind regards.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Peace.